Harsh reality, 72 weeks on Zepbound weight loss equaling a Zepbound weight plateau. We're going to discuss. Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I've lost over 108 pounds the last 2.5 years of being on Zepbound, Mounjaro, TIRZEPATIDE compound. Not at the same time. The combination of those is because of different shortages. And on today's episode, I want to deep dive into why we need to know about 72-week mark for Zepbound. And if you're on Mounjaro, we're lumping you in together. And beautiful friends, this is not medical advice. It is to spark the conversation for you to talk to your healthcare provider. I'm not a healthcare provider. I don't pretend to play one on the internet. However, my experience, strength, and hope has been super, super profound to help encourage thousands of people. And I want to encourage you today of what you can do with this information and apply it towards your weight loss journey. So there was a study, and this is not new news, but the analysis of it I think is important to where you are, whether you've just started your journey on Zepbound or if you've been on your journey for a while, is the SURMONT1 and SURMOUNT4 clinical trials. The results of those basically, and let me read, and I'll cite, by the way, all of my sources I will link in the description link below, so you, to be factually accurate, so you can check my sources, you can cross-check me, like I demand and require myself to be factually accurate. But in this, the majority of participants from those SURMOUNT1 and SURMOUNT4 clinical trials treated with tirzepatide reached a weight plateau by week 72, regardless of baseline BMI category. Across 4 BMI categories of the overweight class 1, class 2, class 3 obesity, the median time for weight plateau was at 24.3, 26, 36.1, and 36.1 weeks respectively. The multivariate analysis showed higher doses of tirzepatide, meaning like Mounjaro 10 milligrams, Mounjaro 15 milligrams, Zepbound 10 milligrams, Zepbound 15 milligrams. Higher doses, younger age, and female sex were associated with longer time to their weight plateau, while BMI and waist circumference had no association. So BMI, that doesn't matter. Your waist size doesn't matter, but it did matter if you're male, female, if you're younger or older, and your dose, 10 milligrams and 15 milligrams. These findings provide insight into potential factors contributing to time for your weight plateau. So if you've experienced a weight plateau, raise your hand. Me too. And I feel like I have worked so hard the last 2.5 years. I've made lifestyle changes, going from morbidly obese, weighing over 300 pounds, now to be lifting and doing the things that I'm doing. I 100% credit to a GLP-1, Zepbound, Mounjaro, and tirzepatide compound to getting me to where I want to be health-wise, and still am continuing, obviously, to strive for further results. But it's very discouraging when you hit that weight plateau at that 72 weeks, boom, if you are not aware of it. And I want to take heed, take the warning from your bestie, Countess of Shopping. I care about you. And I wish I had known, rounding 72 weeks as I was coming around the bend, that that was going to hit me and be like, okay, there's going to be a weight plateau. That's 18 months in. That's a year and a half in. And when I go back through my videos and the count and I talk about from his perspective as my partner, yeah. My weight definitely I've definitely broken past my weight plateau, and I do believe in my heart of hearts I will break past my plateau, because I'm not that far away from my goal weight. Like I feel like I look pretty dang good. I was in my Ring doorbell earlier today and I was like, oh my gosh, she's skinny. You know what I mean? Like, so I've made the lifestyle changes on this, but I think it's important psychologically, mindset wise, motivation wise to know this. A couple of things is the initial period after significant or rapid weight loss. If you've experienced, I know I did, my first week I lost, what was it, 10 or 11 pounds? I always forget. It was a lot. Not normal. That was crazy to me. My eyes were like, boing, like one of those cartoons, like holy gazolies. And so this rapid weight loss, it slows down significantly or stops entirely. And by the way, this is not for everybody. Let's just say this 72-week mark obesity is a wide spectrum and a wide hoop to jump through, meaning treatment is wide. What works for one does not work for others. I will always say, and I don't like to use superlatives, but I'm saying always, that take what you want and leave the rest. Not everything is for everyone. We are all wonderfully made in different ways. And so some of this is applicable for some and not for all. So some people I can think one right off the top of my head, Amanda. Amanda's trucking along. She's at goal weight. She's maintained at a way lower dose than me. And her path has been different from mine. And so maybe your path, you're like, I'm on like 5 milligrams and I'm pretty much at goal weight. That is awesome. Where this comes into play, and I think it's really, really important, is I'm on the highest dose, Zepbound 15 milligrams. There is no other higher brand name for me to go to, and that is one of the solutions for this. We're going to talk about the solutions for weight plateaus. If you've experienced it, or you're A, being aware of that 72-week mark, and B, what you can then do about it. Dose is one of them, but it matters with dose versus side effects, and we're going to deep dive into that, and also what is happening in terms of our body and the science that you need to 1-2 punch that you can take control of, that is within your control, with some of this sensation with appetite suppression. So dose versus side effects, it's like a teeter-totter saw. If you're having side effects like diarrhea, constipation, nausea, one of the best things that I always love to talk about is LMNT electrolytes. I have used them for 2.5 years. I bought them because someone I respect had recommended them, and I'm like, okay, I trust her. I know she's not going to steer me wrong. And for me, I don't promote anything as a woman of integrity unless I absolutely love it. And I love LMNT electrolytes. My kid's on it. My dad's on it. My hot husband likes it. Like, we are an LMNT family. I wouldn't give it to my 10-year-old unless I was 100% behind it, because it has magnesium, potassium, and sodium. Immediately, my kid gets leg cramps. You know what we give him? LMNT electrolyte. You know what helps his leg cramps? LMNT electrolytes. Like, such a big difference. And for me, when I got side effects from Mounjaro side effects and Zepbound side effects, you know what dramatically helped those gastrointestinal, diarrhea, constipation, nausea, across the board, and vomiting? LMNT electrolytes. It is my GLP-1 go-to. Now, obviously, talk to your healthcare provider before taking any sort of supplements, but it is an awesome drink that I love. It even comes in canned sparkling electrolytes, which is my favorite. That's what I love this summer, is the canned ones. They're so good. Because it has in there that magnesium, potassium, and sodium, it's helping to aid with side effects, which can be, that is where that teeter-totter saw goes of how much can one tolerate with dose versus their side effects, typically speaking. Again, not a healthcare provider. Always talk to your own healthcare provider. But with that, I highly, highly, highly recommend LMNT electrolytes. You can go to drinkelement.com/queen, QUEEN, to get your free sticks with any purchase. They've been very generous with the Countess of shopping community to give us free sticks with any purchase, because it matters with that dose side effects. And so being able to tolerate that, because the literature is telling us if there's a weight plateau, the solution is titrating up, one of them. And so having that conversation with your healthcare provider, super important, but they're going to kick back to also your side effects with that as well. And so our bodies have this set point of where it's trying to defend as you get closer to that like goal weight set point. The biological resistance to further weight loss increases, and the appetite suppression and delayed gastric emptying may be less pronounced. And so I can talk about that for the last year plus for me. Like, really, there's nothing wrong with me. If you're going through this, there's nothing wrong with you either. It's that our bodies have this set point in which it's getting to, typically around the 72-week mark. And this initial strong reduction in appetite suppression may lessen, and you might start feeling hungrier more often and needing larger portions to feel satisfied. And for me, that's why I started to sway into more protein. And so if you are near, I want to talk about before 72 weeks and then after 72 weeks. It's like BC and AD. Before the 72 weeks, I want to really encourage you, from my experience, strength, and hope, is to work on food, learning new lifestyle habits associated with food with a dietitian. If you can't afford a dietitian or your health insurance doesn't cover it, then utilizing YouTube videos here from reputable, credible sources. That's one of the key parts of it, making sure it's a credible, reputable source on it, that it's science-based with that. And working through food challenges, not somebody who says, oh, having like watermelon. I was talking about watermelon the other day, and somebody was like, oh, that's like eating a Reese's cup. I'm like, absolutely not. And whoever gave you that advice is full of ravioli. No, I was going to say something else not appropriate. But so on there, working through food challenges. And for me, the first year that was one of the most important things. Then moving into year 2, after really after the first year, then I could focus in on like walking and starting to exercise. Now I lift weights. That was really into year 2 of lifting weights and really getting into weight training to help with that muscle mass loss. That for me, I don't want to break my nail by clenching too hard. So like that muscle to me, building that super, super important. But honey, that didn't happen until like after a year and a half, 2 years in that ballpark. It was not certainly within the first year. Definitely not. So before 72 weeks, working on food challenges would be my biggest encouragement. 2, that dose, the highest dose matters. But being on that highest dose, a lot of people cannot handle that. Like they'll have diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting. Now I'm like, bring it all on. But having some form of exercise within that that's easy, maybe like walking where it's mindless and you're not having to learn a new skill set. I could put one foot in front of the other and walk my dogs, and that still aided on my weight loss without requiring much effort, the way that food challenges and learning new food coping tools like I'm full, put the fork down. What happens when those portion sizes start to get bigger? What do you do about that? That's what this data is telling us. If you are feeling that way, you are not a whack job. There's nothing wrong with you. That's what's happening with the data and the clinical trials with this. Next, reduce. I just find this so, sorry if I'm talking quickly. I am so passionate about this topic, having lived it and having, it's like a weird, not shaming, but kind of like, oh, well, you didn't hit your goal weight and you must be doing something wrong. I'm like, no, babes, I've done nothing wrong. I have worked my patutski figuratively off. You can see my flapjack bottom. No, figuratively and literally, like I've worked so hard on this. It's not anything that's wrong with me. And if you're having a plateau, it's not necessarily anything wrong with you either. There may be other stones that you need to uncover. And that is really important. Next, the reduced sensation of appetite suppression, that people, individuals might feel that strong food noise, the food chatter. We've talked about this in other videos. If you're like, what is she talking about? Go see my food noise, food chatter. But if you know, you know, is that perceiving the medication as not working because they're not having that feeling of fullness, and the less cravings, it's not as intense. When there was this blanket of silencing of the food noise from me, y'all, I thought it was a miracle. I still do think it's a miracle, actually. I was like, this is a flippin' miracle. I'm gonna do backflips down my rural Virginia driveway. Like, this is, I have not felt this since being a really little kid. And even as a little kid, I remember having food noise even as a little kid. And so being able to experience that level of fullness, and so having the level of fullness start to creep up of where you're less and less full, that's what this data is telling us around this marker. However, the medication is still actively influencing metabolism and appetite, just perhaps at a level that their body is now somewhat adapted to. We are getting adapted to these medications. Next, insufficient dosage, which I was talking about, but 10 milligrams, the study talks about 10 milligrams versus 15 milligrams. There's a 12.5 milligram dose in there, but it's not included with this component I'm talking about. But someone that's still on a lower dose and has plateaued, they might not have even reached their optimal therapeutic dose for maximum weight loss. For some, the lower doses are simply not enough to overcome their individual biological weight regulation mechanisms. I fall into that grouping. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. And so keeping that in mind, the lower doses for me, they worked amazingly, got adapted. Now on the higher dose, now my body's adapted to that too. And so why does this matter? One of the points, and there's more to this, so let me just hold my place there. Someone had said in another video, and I thought it was a great point, that they're like, isn't that concerning that you're gonna have to keep going and going and going on the dose? And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna keep going and going and going on the dose. I'm gonna be at maintenance. And once I get to maintenance, that's also going to vary my calories. I won't be in this weight reduction calorie deficit mode. I'll be at maintenance mode, which is a different calorie. I don't like talking about calories, but kind of now I do, because it's not emotional anymore. It used to be so emotional. Now it's not emotional. Taking the emotion out of the equation. But calorie deficit versus maintenance is a different ballgame in terms of eating. It's the same in terms of healthy lifestyle, but it is different. And I know, and many of you who have told me maintenance is sometimes almost harder than than weight loss. It can be, because it can be. And so keeping the point, I didn't explain that super well, but the point what I'm trying to make and the bottom line of it is that I wouldn't keep creeping up on dose because I would be at goal weight, right? And then that moves into a different bracket of maintenance, which is different than needing to continuously lose. And the other part of this is I've been losing for 2.5 years. And also many of you have said to me, Elizabeth, maybe this is just your set point. Maybe the goal weight that you're looking for is just not obtainable for where you are. I do think for me though, once I do the loose skin surgery and things like that, continuing with lifestyle modification, but also just a daggone higher dose, 15 milligrams. And we know that many of you have said that it's not been public information, but there is information out there by other creators that have reported on that Eli Lilly is testing higher doses for Zepbound. So I'm not citing sources on that. I'm citing, you guys told me, my free encouragement group that other creators, and I don't watch other GLP-1 creators, rarely do I, because I don't ever want anyone accusing me of copying their content. It's like my biggest fear, which is why I don't watch other people's content. So when people mention other creators, I'm like, okay, I'll watch doctors, but not like creators. So next, rabbit hole there. Underlying medical conditions, undiagnosed or poorly managed medical conditions like hypothyroidism or certain hormonal balances. I did my last video. I talked about I read that line before, that it can contribute to weight loss resistance even on tirzepatide. You know who has hypothyroidism? Me. You know who needs to go talk to her endocrinologist about, that's the doctor for thyroids, right? Yeah, about thyroid? Me. I have a hypothyroid. My blood panel came back as like, you need to go follow up with your endocrinologist. And many of you guys you're so sweet, like scared for me. It's the thyroid cancer, that black box warning for thyroid cancer was in rats and also as a familial genetic thyroid cancer for Mounjaro and Zepbound for tirzepatide. So my thyroid, it has nothing to do with my hypothyroidism with Zepbound or Mounjaro. So just to clear that off, I'm not worried because I don't have that genetic thyroid cancer, to be clear. But I think for me, my hypothyroidism, in addition to hormone replacement therapy of entering perimenopause, is going to require me to do some more digging. And so great, let's bring it on. I am focused in on my health. But I do want to mention that if you have hyperthyroidism or other certain hormonal imbalances, if you did not see my video a few videos back talking about HRT and how much it led to a 20% reduction in Zepbound weight loss or tirzepatide weight loss with using hormone replacement therapy versus not with tirzepatide. It's a big, there's so much, I've been reporting on it. And if you haven't seen that video, go back and binge watch after this video. Don't leave me now. Don't leave me now. After binge watching this video, go binge watch that one. It's a few back. It's like HRT, 20% weight reduction. It's in the title. It's talking about that, of how if you're menopausal or perimenopausal for women, that can be contributing to this as well. Inconsistent dosing, missing doses or not taking medication consistently to reduce effectiveness. Tirzepatide has a long half-life dose, which is 5 days, but consistent weekly dosing is crucial for maintaining steady levels for the body. Now, if it seems to stop working, it's not that tirzepatide, Zepbound, Mounjaro stop working, because they're not. At the 72-week mark, I do think, so that's 18 months in, for me, looking back, even with having a very disordered perspective with my food, adding in lifting is important, or Pilates, or some form of weight resistant. I like lifting weights. However you could want to do that. Pilates is also amazing. Wall Pilates is amazing. Whatever you can start with, just starting something. Just starting something I think is super, super important. But that workout, adding that in if you're at or very close to that 72-week mark, if you've not already started, to start today. Like, I want you to tell me what you're gonna do. Like, come up with a game plan. I'm going to go talk to a trainer. I'm going to go look for a YouTube video. I'm going to do the Countess has recommended previously about senior wall Pilates. I'm just going to do that here on YouTube because it's free and it's 20 minutes, and I'm going to try that because it's a free resource. Like, that would be my next stop after this, and put on my little leggings, or I don't wear leggings literally also until this year, until Kim, Mama of Banksy, if you're watching, she's like, girl, you need to wear leggings. I'm like, I'm ready for leggings. I've moved to that next realm. Someone said, girl, you need to wear leggings. Wear them for Pilates. It's fun. It talks about if it seems to stop working, touch your healthcare provider. Absolutely, this needs to be a conversation with your healthcare provider. 100%, do not pass go. If you have a healthcare provider that's not talking to you about this, get a new healthcare provider. I love working with Join Fridays. Use the discount code QUEEN if you're looking for GLP-1 and GIP or just GLP-1 medications. They're awesome. Your healthcare provider should absolutely be helping you figure this out. 2, reevaluating your diet and exercise. I don't like that answer because I feel like it blames me for doing something wrong. And I have felt like I have gotten it wrong my whole life, being obese and being on my first diet since elementary school. I've been doing it wrong. I don't think that I feel like probably if you've watched this far in the video, bestie, that you probably know more about diet and exercise than most people, to be honest. Because if you're like me, I've been on pretty much every single diet known to man. Weight Watchers, Atkins, Mediterranean, the delivery one that had the powdered eggs that was so disgusting. Like, we could name them all. Name them. You guys know from Housewives. Name them. We could name them all. So I don't necessarily lean into that because I know for me right now, I am working so hard on my food choices and my workout choices. But that's one here because it may be. Hydration and sleep, managing stress, and being patient, because some people have unrealistic goals associated with that. I feel like there's so much more to cover on this topic. If you want me to do a part 2 to this video, like I feel like we're just scratching the surface in terms of data and also solutions with this. Tell me in the comments, or maybe you're like, Elizabeth, I'm over it. Let's go talk about shoes, honey. I'm having just tell me in the next down below what video you would like to see. And your accountability question, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Also, make sure you go ahead and get your element at drinkelement.com/queen, QUEEN. You can get free sticks with any purchase. And our emoji of the day is going to be sunshine, because you're sunshine. If you've made it this far, I love doing emojis of the day to get to know you better because I care. The pattern recognition of seeing your name over and over and over and over and over will help me to know you. Literally, when I call you besties, like truly you guys are. I very much get excited for like our regs to comment all the time. I'm like, yes. My husband and I have conversations about it. If Gloria's watching, I'm like, Glow had watermelon. We're like going back and forth about watermelon. Like that is all through commenting on the. So like, if you think it's cheesy, it's not at all. Like literally, legitimately. And like Leslie's like an awesome friend. Literally, hello YouTube. It's amazing. So comment sunshine, and that's my bat signal to pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, uplift you in positive thought. But I do it to get to know you better because I care. I feel like we've covered a lot of ground today. Honey, I need an element drink now. I'm ready to go. I'm parched. I'm ready to go have a little sippy sip of my magnesium, potassium, and sodium. My beautiful friends, though, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. And I will see you over on our free encouragement group at countessofshopping.com/group. Love you. Bye.